nice to see your face.
Yeah,
Over there in Utah, are you still 1.5 feet under the snow?
yeah, we've got a good 1.5 feet of snow outside, and the bunnies, like the girl bunnies, we haven't seen them for 4 days.
Yeah, they're staying warm.
They're just hidden underneath all the snow, and the boys have got up and they're hopping all over the place. They've trampled all their snow down, but the girls, they haven't done so. And then we just got a litter of bunnies. One of the bunnies got in, and it's so much like clockwork. It's so hilarious because the one of the boy bunnies got in with the girl bunnies and was in there for 2 days before we realized it. So we caught him and got him out of there. And literally exactly 60 days from the date that he got in there, we had little baby bunnies hopping around out of the ground.
Oh my God.
So, at this point, we're not sure how many we got. We know we've had at least 3. One of them got caught by a neighborhood cat and killed it. And we went outside to. Normally, we find out we've got new bunnies by seeing them come hopping out of the ground. Well, in this case, we found out because one of our neighbors, left one of the dead bunnies sitting on our porch, wrapped in a little rag. And we were like, "Oh, look at this, a dead bunny." I guess because everybody in the neighborhood knows we got bunnies.
Yeah. You're not the
So,
cat people, you're the cat and bunny people.
it's funny because all the little kids in the neighborhood would come over to the house all the time, and there was a couple of girls here in the neighborhood that were missing, and their parents got all freaked out, wondering where their kids were, and so they called the cops,
Oh,
and
no.
the cops came over to my house, and I didn't know anything about I didn't know that the girls were in our backyard trying to see the bunnies. And I was in the house, and the cop get a knock on the door. I go open the door, and it's a cop standing there, and I says, "Hello, officer, what's going on? You here to see the bunnies?" and so I go outside and go walking around the side of the house and go through the gate, and here comes these 2 little girls running out of the backyard. I'm like, I had to put my foot down in the neighborhood and tell all the kids, no going in the backyard without us.
Yeah.
Again, I'll lock the gate and you guys won't be able to go see the bunnies anymore.
Yeah. And if you do that as an adult, you might get arrested. As
Yeah,
a kid, it's
exactly.
understandable, you're
I
curious.
show up with a SWAT team, That's definitely the last thing I need in this world. So,
Right.
but yeah, it's been fun. The kids have had a lot of fun with it, and but nothing quite as fun as doing this. Not quite as fun as having the chance to see you, Liz. It's so good to see you. Everybody, today we're welcoming a very special guest, Liz Christian from up in Seattle. She is a rock star distributor, and she has a demo that is a one-of-a-kind, way different kind of demo than what you're typically used to seeing. And she's been gracious enough to come here with us and share this demo. And so I'm really excited to see it. I'm imagining that this is going to be really great, knowing how awesome you are. I would expect nothing less than an awesome demo today. So I'm going to just go ahead and turn the floor over to you, Liz, and we'll get it going.
All right. Yeah. So I know when you were here, JJ, when you were staying with us, you had asked Dan about this 15-minute demo that he does in the kitchen and stuff. So actually, I'm going to have him help me because I'm going to split the screen. And I see Steve joined us. So
down there on the bottom is a share button, share screen.
All right.
Click on that, and then you can share your screen with everybody.
So I'm going to have Dan basically skip through my PowerPoint while I do the 15-minute demo. So I'm opening it up right now to make it easy for him.
Wow. Techie.
And to be honest with you, when I'm doing my first 15-minute demo with somebody, I don't talk a lot about pH and do tea bags and things like that. I talk more about hydration and the body. So I'm going to be including some of that with it. So my 15-minute demo here isn't going to be 15 minutes because I'm going to do a little explaining in between, but we're going to try and get something good for you guys today. Let's see, so we're going to open that up and we're going to share this right here. You got it?
What am I looking at?
Now on our end, we're getting only a small portion of your screen.
Oh, okay.
You may need to minimize your screen a little bit to.
Yeah,
Now we get
how's
it.
that looking?
There we go. Perfect.
No?
Yeah.
And then oh, no.
Yep, and we're gonna turn it around. So I always start out my demos with a visualization. So that's the close your eyes screen right there.
Can they see?
Yeah. And what I'm gonna be doing is what I'm doing in front of the room, you know, while these slides are. So I always start with a visualization. Close your eyes, think of water. And so people get an image in their mind of water. Sometimes I say, think of the water inside of you. What does your internal river look like? And so it plants a seed in someone's mind to connect themselves with water. You could use anything else you want to. If you're doing a business demo, say, you know, close your eyes and think of your perfect day. You know, what does that look like? And stuff. So we're getting people back to themselves first here. And I say, I hope it looks something like this. I hope it's pristine and beautiful. You know, there's so many different forms of water, and I sincerely hope it doesn't look like this. This is where we, you know, say not all water is created equal, and point them towards the EWG report, because that's pointing them towards their water. It is so impactful when we go into people's homes. And that's why, you know, Dan and I focus on the in-home demo, usually 1 to 3 on 1, and show people what's going on. Make them look up their own water, you know, what are the contaminants in there? These are the ones that are here in our tap water. So we talk a little bit about these contaminants, just a little bit, not too much, because too much information gets overwhelming and important points get lost. So we talk about chlorine. So this is where I actually start the hands-on demos with the chlorine. Come into people's houses, turn on their water, get it running 10, 15 seconds, because the first 10 to 15 seconds of the water in there, the chlorine has dissipated. Chlorine will dissipate, but it's still a contaminant that's in our water. So after 15, 20 seconds, basically I take the tap water, have my helper Dan over here getting me the tap water. So take the tap water, show that the chlorine detection drops. These are not chlorine drops. A lot of people say, oh, here's some chlorine drops we're putting into water. Well, no wonder there's chlorine in the water. You put chlorine drops in the water. How we say it is important. Chlorine detection drops. I'm going to place 3 of those in your tap water and let that sit there for a moment. We see it turning yellow because there's chlorine in the water. Here's the cup. I always say this because it says may cause cancer. So this is poison too, right? But I say if it turns this color yellow, it's a toxic level of chlorine, because that is true. All right, so chlorine in the water. Dan likes to put the fingers in the chlorine, especially if there's a kid in the house. I often put my own in the chlorine because some people get kind of like, why are they doing this? And so it keeps the attention on me. So I'm putting my fingers in the tap water, resembling a bath. Kid taking a bath, us taking baths. So about 15 seconds, my fingers were in there. I take the chlorine detection drops, put the same amount in, and go, where did the chlorine go?
Wow, isn't that amazing?
There's a point right there. So then I tell my story. I grew up with eczema all over my body, digestive issues. I didn't know that once I removed my body from the chlorine, that my body had a better chance of healing itself, because I went through the creams and you know, the steroid creams, which I found out that putting steroids on skin just makes skin produce more skin. So no wonder it was itchy and flaky and everything. What I was putting on the top, you know, plus the chlorine was creating, you know, my disease. So we talk more about chlorine, how it was utilized during the World War I to create mustard gas to take down our enemies. So when did we say it's okay that chlorine is coming through our water? You know, I make these points and ask these questions to get back to the person, that they get to think for themselves. I speak about the immune system, how we may be harming our immune system. One of those is dehydration. And then we speak, no, it feels a little dark. We speak about hydration. Why is it important? What parts of our body are, you know, what percentage of water? What are the effects of dehydration? So I ask a question, how many of you in here like what it feels like to be hydrated? People, you know, raise their hand or not. How many of you have ever felt incredibly dehydrated? You know, like I've had heat stroke before where I literally collapsed to the ground and it was like, all I could think about was water. Like I was so dehydrated. These pictures are impactful. So I speak about the finger picture in terms of, isn't it interesting that when we take a bath, our fingers turn like this, but what that means is that we're dehydrated. So how can we be submerged in a bath of water and still be dehydrated? Well, it's because of the chemicals in the water force this dehydration and our body's not absorbing any water. The picture of the lips, that's what my face looked like growing up as a kid 95% of the time. There'd be like a short range in the summertime where like everything aligned and my skin would be good, but come picture day, you know, at school, I was like, oh man, I don't want a picture of this. And then the other picture is of a woman I gave for, and this was 2 weeks after I met her. She was hospitalized. She wasn't on the water or anything like that. And this is what her urine looked like. So I speak about, and she had severe dehydration. So I speak about that we can go to the bathroom and check on where we're at with our hydration level. So this is a quote that I like by John F. Kennedy. We all can read it, sure. Oh, and if you can't, if you're driving, I'll read it. Anyone who can solve the problems of water will be worthy of 2 Nobel Prizes, one for peace and one for science. So I speak about the machine, how it works, how it filters, what ionization is, how it splits the waters using negative and positive charges, and talk about the cells in our body. And this brings us to, well, the cells in our body, to, the tea bag. So, my helper over here, Vanna Dan,
Right.
is gonna get me some water. I speak about the tea bag as if it were a cell or a collection of cells. This could represent the 100 trillion cells in our body. And what we're gonna attempt to do is hydrate our cells. When our cells are properly hydrated, they're healthy. They can receive nutrients, all of those things, and they can expel acidic waste. So we want to be hydrated so our cells can both be penetrable and push things out. All right, so first we try and hydrate our cells with tap water. So here's our cells trying to hydrate. Usually we have to warm up the water to make tea because it changes the structure of the water to bring out the T cells. Now we are going to try and hydrate our cells with Kangen 9.5, and we're going to see a difference.
Wow, yeah.
We don't have to over-explain this. What we see is a difference. Now, because I thought this way, we go back and we try to hydrate the cells again, because was it just that the cells were slightly already hydrated from the tap water that it made it easy on the Kangen water? Let's see. So we're going to try and hydrate again in tap water. And we're going to see still a difference. Now, this is an important point to make right here. This is the original trying to hydrate the T cells. Can you see it? It's
Yep.
not, there's not T in this water. It's that the water isn't structured correctly to hydrate the T cells. But when we add a water that is structured correctly, we can utilize and hydrate those cells more effectively. That's all I say about that one.
That is crazy. That's cool as all get out right there.
Yeah. That to me is the biggest thing. It's about hydration. Our cells need hydration, you know, and we don't need chemicals. So those are my two big things that have changed my life. Everything else on top of that now is just the icing on the cake. So we move into antioxidants. What is an antioxidant? Steve Beaumont says it the best. It's like Oprah on giveaway day. It has electrons to donate. Okay, so it's like, here, you have an electron, you have an electron, you have an electron, and those electrons are negatively charged, so they are just attracted to all of our cells. They're the superhero of our cells. Antioxidants, good. Oxidation, not good. Aging, rusting, the apple that turns brown, the avocado that turns brown. We look at that and my brain thinks, ooh, you know, I mean, I'll eat it and stuff, a substance, but part of me goes, maybe I should cut that off. So antioxidants, good. Oxidation, bad. That's pretty much how we explain that. So we move into ORP. And we're gonna pull out these, let's see, we're gonna come down a little lower. How's that? Better?
Beautiful.
Aquafina. Pepsi Cola's #1 seller in the US because it's banned in a lot of other places, just like Dasani. Reverse osmosis water, dead water, water that has nothing bad in it and nothing good, but because it's in a bottle, it does have stuff that's bad in it from the bottle. Thank you, love. And then 7-Up, what I like to call poison in a plastic bottle. So this I'd only ever use to get blood stains out or clean the battery terminals on my car. That is the only thing these are good for. That's my opinion. So this is when we introduce the ORP meter. This isn't essential. Like I said, this is just icing on the cake and another visual for people. So we start by showing the ORP meter. So I'm gonna put it right there. And it measures a millivolt. It measures the oxidation reduction potential of a liquid. It's better understood backwards. It's the potential to reduce oxidation. So we're gonna measure inside these beverages and tap water and Kangen water to see where it lies on this scale. Now, what we want here is a negative number. That's an antioxidant. A negative charge means that the liquid is living. There's an electrical charge inside of it. If it has a positive number, that means that there's nothing living inside of it and it doesn't have an electrical charge. All right, so we'll get started here. What should we start with, Dan?
Aquafina.
We'll start with Aquafina. Let's see. And can you help read it? Because I'm
408, 402, 397.
Okay, so right around positive 400. We'll move to the Dasani. I'm trying to read it backwards and I
Okay.
can't. It looks like
413.
Okay, so right
Try
around
your
the same.
tap water.
We've got the tap water.
580 and climbing up to 600 and going north. 610, 620. So
Which the water treatment plant requires it to be positive 600, so nothing's living in it.
660 for the Sprite, 650, 640.
Horrible. And then I'm over here is the Kangen water. I don't know if you can see it, but
Negative, see the negative sign here? Negative 400.
negative 400. That's vastly different than all the rest. And then we go back to something else to make sure that the meter's not tricked.
Up to 200 and climbing.
Plus 200 and climbing. And then we go back to the Kangen water.
Minus 388.
Minus 388. It's vastly different. One thing is different than the other. So often I say, if there's nothing else that you remember from today's demo, remember that negative number in the Kangen water is vastly different than all of the other beverages. It has a charge, it's alive, it's electrical. What are our cells? This is exactly what our cells need in order to hydrate properly. That's it. Moving on. And then pH. This one's always fun, especially if kids are around. Let's see, here we go. Get it up on there. So these are pH testing indicator, and they are going to show us where on this pH balance chart these beverages lie. Our pH of our blood is right there in the middle at 7.365. It wants to stay right around there. So I'm going to put these pH testing indicator, they're not pH drops, they're pH testing indicator, into all of these beverages, and we're going to see where they are on this rainbow pH chart. So we'll start here. Aquafina, Dasani, 7UP, and Kangen water. There's a difference there, folks. So we're looking here at Dasani, pH right around 4.5. Same with Aquafina. Same with Dasani. Here we're seeing 7UP, which is right around a 2.5 pH, maybe 3, and then an Adject Kangen water 9.5 pH. Now, I like this one too. I usually give it to a kid if they're around. How long do you think it takes for us to start to change our internal environment? It takes starting now, a little bit at a time. Some of this is really bad. But if we're consuming things that are 2.5 pH, we're not going to be able to do it as easily. The switch is going to be harder. So is this something, this 2.5 acidic beverage with sugar and plastic all in it, anything we should be giving our children? No. I make that point. To me, that is a huge point. And if we just introduce a little bit into our environment, is it okay? No. We shouldn't be giving this to our kids. We shouldn't be consuming it ourselves. I do like a good root beer once in a while if it comes out of the tap ice cold. Just put that in there. It's all about balance. I speak about our health today in America and what's going on. What are the costs? People being killed every 3.7 seconds from stroke. That's ridiculous. Every 38 seconds from cardiovascular disease. 30 million Americans live with diabetes, and even more than that live in pre-diabetic conditions. So we need this. I speak about what's on myfood.org, how you can look up the pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, all on what'smyfood.org. And I just think this number is ridiculous. So by this year, the value of the world agrochemical market is estimated to reach $250 billion. That says something. They're making money off of the poison they're putting on our food and not giving us a solution, which I'm about to show you, on how to get that stuff off the food. No one questions what happens between this spray here on our food and the supermarket where we go to pay good money for it. So we're gonna take these tomatoes. You can use other things. We like to use nuts too. Walnuts work really well. And one of them we're gonna put in the tap water. We're gonna attempt to wash it. And the other one we are going to cover with this 11.5 pH water that you get out of the machine when you just hit the button and collect it. I drink it every day. I've already drank a pint of it this morning. So we're gonna wash the other ones in that. It's safe. I'm drinking it right now. We make our laundry detergent. It is a degreaser. It is amazing. If I can move you around more, I'd do a demo of wiping off my stove. But what a lot of people don't know is that those herbicides and pesticides, insecticides are all oil-based. So here is a little bit of sesame oil. And what I learned in 3rd grade science, tap water and oil and a lot of other waters, they don't mix. There's them not mixing. But this 11.5 pH water is able to emulsify oil just like that. Isn't that amazing? Gets me every time. Look at the difference. Tap water and oil, 11.5 pH in oil. What does that mean for tomatoes that were sprayed by those people with the hazmat suits? Watch this. Tap water tomatoes. 11.5 pH tomatoes. What is that yellow stuff? That's all the sides coming off of our food, making it taste gross, in my opinion. When I go out to eat at a restaurant, I don't order salads anymore. I used to love salads, but I don't anymore because I know that not only are those pesticides, herbicides, and insecticides on the salad, but they also rinsed it in tap water, which has the chlorine in it. And so the salads, to me, I can smell the chlorine in them now. So here is the answer to a huge problem that costs pennies. The solution to this $250 billion problem is pennies and can go on our counter. That to me is priceless information. So we talk about going over from all the chemicals. These chemicals were also creating my eczema growing up and my digestive issues. I go into houses now and I can smell all the Febreze and the things they plug into the wall and everything. And people don't realize that those are just chemicals that we're paying a lot of money for to basically ruin our internal environment and have to later down the road pay for in different ways. So this 11.5 pH is amazing. We talk about the 2.5 pH, which I don't do a demonstration for, I just speak about. I mean, to say that in 30 seconds, you can have staph, MRSA, strep, pink eye, all those bacteria and germs killed in 30 seconds, to me, that's enough. So that's pretty much all I say about that. I do mention that this is utilized in Japanese hospitals for wound care and burn care, but that's pretty much the only reference that I'll make about the 2.5. Speak about beauty water, how much money people are spending on their beauty products and things like that, how the plastics and the chemicals are just ruining our internal and external environments. It can all be remedied with beauty water, which is just a button push away. So we talk about the Nespa. I speak highly about the Nespa because of my skin issues and stuff, but it just makes sense once you're hydrating properly from the inside out, that we would do it from the outside in too. I do speak about other options if people aren't ready to purchase the Nest-Spa, to at least begin to get their bodies out of the chlorine and contaminants. This is my biggest why, is getting us out of this plastic chemical warfare that we're spending top dollar on, and just making this no-brainer switch over to having access to, you know, not only this amazing product, but just amazing people, company. You guys know what I'm talking about. I talk about properly researching through PubMed and Google Scholar, that we search for restructured water, electrolyzed reduced water, molecular hydrogen, and H2 water. I make a point to say, does anyone see anything that says alkaline water in there? I usually get a no, and I say, good. That's not what we're researching here. Because the worst thing we can do with all of our research is nothing, right? We have all this information. We've done all this research. If we don't do anything with it, we are being irresponsible with it. So talk about the plastic plague, let's clean up our oceans. And I think I'll just end here, because there's a little bit more, you know, it goes into the business and everything. But this was a big book for me when I was going through massage school. Actually, it was recommended by a teacher. And it talks about the biology of belief. You know, who are we to come in and tell somebody what they believe is not true? But the moment they decide to change their perception is the moment they'll rewrite the chemistry of their body. I can say it in terms of me, because, I mean, when I first read this book, that was 10, 12 years ago now. And it definitely opened me up to looking at things differently. So I know that was more than 15 minutes, because there was a lot of explanation in there, but I'll pull back from the screen share and see if there's any questions. Actually, let's see. Oh, how do I unshare?
Down on the bottom, you'll see if you just run your cursor over the bottom of your screen, you'll see the stop share button.
Thanks, buddy.
Awesome. What a beautiful thing. I love that demo. That's great.
Oh,
I'd
cool.
love to have that file. That would be a helpful thing to be able to show to people, you know, across the table or at their house or whatever. You know, I love that concept of, you know, just real quickly going through the basics of stuff. And you know, the tea bag thing, I know that when I saw that tea bag thing, that really hit me hard. I was like, wow, that's something else. And then seeing how the one that, you know, you can't even see any tea in there, and then you pour a little bit of Kong in there, there you go, you got tea.
Yeah, when I first saw it, I was like, this shouldn't be happening. Like, that doesn't make it, like, it did not compute, you know, at first. I was like, but it's different, it changes. And Dan's gonna show you one of his go-tos.
JJ, so a lot of people on the live side were asking what kind of tea is that. Steve Beaumont likes to use a particular one, so if anybody wants to reach out to him.
Yamamoto.
We just use this Stash premium green tea. I mean, lots of things work, some don't, but the thing is we just found this to be consistently, you know, to prove the point that we're trying to make. But Stash green tea, for anybody that's looking, it's pretty much out there anywhere. I know you're probably seeing this backwards, but if anybody wants to.
Yeah, it's always good to have a tea that, I don't know what the difference is between one tea and another, why some teas react better to the test or whatever, but
I honestly, I think it might just be the tea that, you know, I mean, because if you get a black tea, your tea looks black. Green tea, I think some green tea is just more green than others.
Okay.
Maybe it's the pesticides they spray on there. I don't know. But it's hard to know what's in everything these days.
You know, another thing about that tea test that I think is important, because I always say to people that Kong makes everything better. It's like, I don't care what it is. I've never found anything that Kong doesn't make it better. Whatever it is, if it's good, it makes it even better, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Bad, it brings it up to being close to good. And I've seen things where literally mixing like powder. There's a lot of these companies out there that sell these powdered weight loss drinks and energy drinks, and they're supposed to be so
Yeah.
good for you. And I've had several of them that have been brought over to my house as demo things, and I take them and put one in regular tap water, put the other one in Kangen water, and then do an ORP test on them. And the one that's in regular tap water has a positive 3, 4, 500, and the one that's in Kangen water has a negative 200.
Yeah.
And so it's like when you show that kind of a thing to somebody, you know, interestingly enough, none of the distributors that are marketing these products that I've showed this to, none of them have been persuaded to like add Kangen water to their repertoire and,
Yeah.
you know, show people that, you know, you're literally showing somebody that the product that they're selling out there that they're saying is so good for people is actually really bad for them.
Well, let's
And
face
even
it,
though
JJ, we're like in a pill, like a pill's gonna fix it society. You know, it's like there is a pill for everything and more than I'm aware of these days. And even, I mean, I don't want to talk down like it's a bad thing, but even I see mothers giving their children these gummies, vitamin C gummies. But if you read the ingredients, there's so much sugars and gelatins and, you know, other things that are in there. We're not an ingredient reading society. We're, oh, if it's good for my kids and they like it, you know, and it's sweet, it's like a treat, you know, and if it's in the store, it must be good. So it's just, it's too easy for it to be water. It's, you know, it's amazing how many conversations we've had. And Dan and I get people like, hey, you should join our MLM and this and that all of the time. And a lot of them are supplements and things like that. And I went through a period too where I was taking all kinds of supplements. I mean, I had a best friend who was a naturopath, so it was free information and, oh, ashwagandha berries and these and that and everything. And I'm like, this, I don't even need to eat anymore because I can just eat all of these supplements and it's supposed to do everything I need. It was water, it's just too easy for some, you know, but it's that belief thing that we're not here to take anyone's beliefs away from them. We're here to show that there's an alternative, you know, and it's an easy alternative, you know, if you choose to go down that path. But it is amazing, yeah, how many people want to take a pill and it be the answer. And
Well, I love it. I sure appreciate you showing us that demo. That was really wonderful. And I love the whole concept of, you know, talking about the different things that are in our water, the different aspects of why hydration is important. You know, and one little interesting thing that I was thinking about as I saw your slides is the wrinkly fingers. I'm a notorious long bath taker because whenever I get involved with a carpet or a tile job, I come home so sore that I can't hardly move. So I love to take a long hot bath. And I have been taking long baths for a long time, and always I would have, even though I have some of the best water in the world coming out of my tap, it doesn't have any chemicals in it, nothing, no chlorine, no fluoride, nothing. But it still has like a positive 300 reading on the ORP scale. Well, so when I'm bathing in that water and I'm in there for an hour, hour and a half, that's what my fingers look like. Interestingly enough, when I'm bathing, because now we have the Ines Spa, when I take my baths in the Ines Spa, I can be in that bathtub for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and my fingers do not wrinkle up like that. And, you know, I don't know exactly what that, you know, I guess that must have to do with the minerals and such that the water's being infused with, and whatever possible natural chemicals are leaching into my water from the mountain and from the deep well aquifer that it's in, that, you know, that must be what's doing it. But it's so, for anybody out there that is curious about that, then the Ines Spa, that's one of the benefits of it is you don't wrinkle up. And even after being in a bath for 2 hours, you still don't wrinkle up. And another tidbit about that is that whenever I would take baths before, I would always end up with, I'd have to reheat the water like 4 or 5 times during that hour and a half, 2-hour bath. Where with the Nest-Spa, for some reason, I found I only have to reheat the water a couple of times. And I thought that was pretty amazing. The water actually stays hotter longer, and because it does that, that saves you money on your water bill. And if you live in one of these places where they charge you a lot of money for water, that can be a significant savings. And so that's something I just kind of wanted to give an Nest-Spa a little bit of a plug there, because it's been a wonderful thing. And I would imagine you guys having an Nest-Spa up there, right?
Oh my gosh, yes. Like, we take it with us if we can when we travel and stuff. We even have an Nest-Spa for any guests that come and stay with us, or, you know, we do demo out the Nest-Spa a lot. And especially, I mean, once somebody has expressed that they have a skin issue, you know, it's like, let's get them out of the chlorine right away, you know, while they're drinking this water, because just the two together are amazing. I take a Nest-Spa bath once a week. I don't plan anything right after and stuff. I only last about an hour, because I get to the point where it's like, I just want to take a nap. Like, there's something, it's like it resets my system and stuff. And so I usually take a little nap afterwards, and I wake up just feeling like, you know, like you say, amazing. So yeah, it really is a good, you know, marriage between the hydration inside and the hydration outside. When you do research, I mean, mineral baths, who doesn't love to go to a hot spring and stuff? I mean, a lot of people like to sit in hot tubs because it's warm water, but after I get out of a hot tub, because of my sensitivity to chlorine, I am itchy and burning and puffy, and my stomach feels weird. Like, that 4 cups of chlorine I take in, like I feel it, you know, and I smell it, and it's just, you know, the traditional hot tub to me is not enjoyable anymore, and hardly is a pool that's full of chlorine. I prefer to go in a river or a lake or the ocean over a chlorinated anything any day.
Yeah.
So the Nest-Spa is like sitting in a hot spring and stuff without the trees, you know. So it's a good one. It's a changer for sure.
Yeah. So Marilyn on the live side was asking where she could find those slides to implement into her presentations, wondering whether those could be available to her. Is that something that you would be able to share with her?
Of course. I'm not the best on technology. I personally made most of those slides, not all of them, but I have all of them. So I think I just need to figure out how to zoom it through the cloud. I know Steve Beaumont's on right now and can help me with that, basically getting a PowerPoint to somebody else. So thank you for that, and we'll get it to you, Marilyn. Absolutely. Yeah, happy to share.
I love that. And so there you go, Marilyn. You just reach out to Dan or myself, or I'm going to try to get these from you as well. And so I'll be happy to share them out with anybody. And even maybe once we can get a link to where someone can find them, we can put them in the comments here, and people can go back and grab them and utilize them. And, you know, that's one of the beautiful things about the Kong family, is we're here to help each other. And
Yeah.
you know, this company is so amazing with the vested interest that it has placed inside of our compensation plan, that it literally gives us a vested interest in helping each other, you know, helping everybody, anywhere, wherever they are, whoever group they're in, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it's brilliant, because most of the things that I've seen throughout the years, they're all directed towards me. You know, if you're not on my team, I'm not helping you. And in this case, we have such a cool family of people that are all willing to help, and it's been a blast. And, you know, one thing I would love to hear from you, Liz, and I'm sure that our audience and people that are going to be listening to this, they heard what you said about having eczema and that. But my question is, because I always ask every guest, how, when, and why did you get involved with Kangen Water, and were you a skeptic like I was? And so maybe real quickly you could tell people, you know, sure, you've got Kangen Water now and all that, but how'd you find out about it? What happened? What was the life-changing moment that made you decide to take a look-see?
Well, I'm going to go back just a little bit farther because I was in this place in my life where my belief system had been flipped and turned upside down. I had a history of, it was interesting, my history of both addiction and caregiving. It sounds like a balance, but it really was not. It was chaotic and everything. So my belief system had been flipped around. I had run to California to try and learn a new trade and everything, and came back to help, you know, and gotten clean and sober and everything like that, and came back to help my mom through a shoulder surgery. So we were locked up in the house. It was like February, March for 2 months, and I'm taking care of my mom and living with my parents at the age of 34, you know, and stuff. And it was testing me. So one day I was like, we got to get out of here. And so I looked online, free events or cheap events in Seattle, and came across Veg Fest. Free samples. I was like, okay, this gets my dad because he loves to eat, and my mom out of the house because she's been going through all this stuff. So we show up to Veg Fest. I turn my back for one moment, turn around, my parents are gone. So it's like, okay, I'll catch up with them later. This is typical my family. When the parents are off, and I'm like, okay, so I go on my own. The very first table I come to, I see little cups, because there was food and stuff all around, but there's cups of different colored liquid. And I didn't even look at the person. And I said, well, what's going on with the purple one? And it was Dan Edlund, and he's doing the demo, and, you know, head down, getting out all of the information. I'm asking questions. I had already been going to an artesian well down the road and filling up 15 gallons a pop to bring home the water to my parents. I found out when I moved back home from living out on the mountains in California, I found out that there was something in the water that was affecting my skin every time I did the dishes, because we didn't have a dishwasher growing up. And so when I came back to the house, no dishwasher, my hands would burn. So my mom got me special like gloves so I could do the dishes with the gloves. So I had gone to this artesian well to get the drinking water. I hadn't researched the actual water that was coming out of the tap, but I knew that there was something wrong with it. Because when I was out in the mountains on the top of a hill drinking from an artesian well, it was amazing. It was so good. The water came out cold and was so good. But come back to Bothell, Washington, and there's something wrong with this water. I can smell it and stuff. So after Dan introduced me to the water at this event, he offered to share with me to try out the water. 7-10 days, try out the water, 2 weeks, or you can get it from the office. And I said, okay, I'll try the water, but I've already seen your demonstration. You know, I know how the placebo effect works. So if you're willing to share with me, will you also share with my parents and my dog? And so I watched over, let me think, it was over 5 days. No, on the 4th day, my dad comes to me and goes, what is in this water? Because I haven't felt this good in 4 years, but it sure does make you fart. And that's what he said, and it kind of got me, well, something's going on with him. And then my dog, we have this rule, minimum mile a day. My dog wouldn't settle down. He's over here somewhere, 120-pound Rottweiler, and his energy level went through the roof. And I was like, okay, something's going on with him. And I just knew that there was something about this water. So on the 10th day, which I would have bought on the 7th, but I had to get, you know, my money organized, I bought my first junior and stuff. Just brought it home and said, okay, Mom and Dad, just drink. I told my sister who lives next door to my parents, okay, just drink, and her kids and everyone, just drink the water. Like, here's the well. You just have to come here to fill up. You know, you guys don't need to buy machines or anything like that. And my sister said, don't ever talk to me about that water ever again. And I still haven't. My parents have, but I never talked to him. My dad went and blabbed all over my sister, like, you got to buy one of these and da-da-da-da. And my sister said, it's getting in between my marriage. Don't talk to me about it. So I still haven't talked to her for, what are we at, 2.5 years now? And I started to see Dan and the people he had surrounded himself. I started to meet more people in Enagic. I started to have more of my own experience, digestive issues going away, allergic tolerances not as bad as they were, and just my physical health started to clear up. Well, I started to kind of wake up every morning like, where is this Enagic female who's going to come along and help me rise to the top? And like, I was making up these stories like this, like angel's going to come down and save me and everything. And a year goes by and I get a few sales here and there. Year two, comes up and has gone by, and I realized, what? She's got to be inside of there. I looked myself in the mirror and I said, you know what? The person I'm looking for is in me. And so that's what's kind of driven me, is that I didn't know where to latch on to as a new distributor. I didn't know. I was hearing all this information that if I want to, I can go read this and do that and everything. And so finally I got plugged in. In the last 6 months, I've gotten plugged into different people and leaders, and just really looked at myself, my mindset. What is it that I'm wanting to accomplish? I never really thought about that before. It was kind of like dreams were over there. But now it's like, what are we wanting to create? And just being able to have that kind of open-mindedness that, whatever happens is going to be amazing, because of all what we're putting out is more. We're getting so much more what's coming back, and we're getting to receive, which is not something I grew up understanding very well. You give more than you receive is what I learned. But what I'm finding is that I can't receive fast enough at this point. It's kind of crazy. So it's this whirlwind that is picking up, and I can't control it, and I'm going with it, and I love it. It challenges me in so many ways. I would have never thought, I'd be in front of a screen talking to people about water, doing a demo, or at the office in front of people. Like, I'm shaking in my toes and sweating a little bit every time, because it's challenging me in ways, and I'm liking it. It gets fear-filled and like, ooh, scary for a second. And it's like, oh, wow, that was amazing, and it's just those little transformations that can happen just in a moment are just so valuable. It's amazing. I love it.
Well, there's a saying out there amongst the Kangen Water family, in that we have a self-development program with a compensation plan, and then the other side of it is that the motto of this company is change your water, change your life. And it's not change your water, change your house or your car or your job or your shoes or your wardrobe or anything like that. It's change your water, change your life. And you're a living testament to the fact that that's exactly what happens when you get involved with this company. You end up getting surrounded. If you plug yourself in anyway, you plug into this absolute incredible magical energy. Magic is energy and magic combined together, and that is exactly what we are involved with here. This literally magical energy that we get to be involved with, and all these wonderful people and people like yourself that just shamelessly, happily help other people every single day. And it's the neatest thing there is in the world. I've never, ever seen anything like this company. And the people that I've met, I just am so in love with. It's really crazy. I mean, I've never had a company like this in my life. People like Steve here that, every other Wednesday is getting on and giving a training that anybody and everybody can come jump into. And, with that, Steve, I'm wondering if you've got any comments or questions for Liz while we got her here.
Good morning, JJ. Good morning, Liz. Thank you so much, both of you. JJ, thank you so much for putting this together and doing this every morning. And I see all the different people you have on here. It's incredible. Sorry, I'm not more consistently on here. I just need to get myself up and into action at 8 a.m. a little bit more often. But definitely, Definitely a treat this morning, worth being on for. Thank you so much, Liz. Yeah, definitely. A couple comments I want to make. First of all, you know, I've seen Liz a couple times at the office now, at the Enagic office on Saturdays, and it was, I believe it was last week was your last one, and wow, I just have to say, wow. I mean, Liz brings such a level of passion and excitement to the demo, and you know, I've seen, you know, thousands now, at least 1,500 to 2,000 demos in the time that I've been part of Enagic. And one of the common threads is they start to look alike. You know, it gets to be a little bit repetitive, but Liz brings new material, new slides, new content to it, and a new fresh perspective. And I think that's very, very effective. And just the way that Liz has this natural passion for what she does, again, makes you very, very effective in presenting the information. So thank you. I would really just lean into that. I mean, the information's all there, you know, the technicality of doing the demo, the performance aspect's great. You know, just your passion is really where you live, Liz, and that's your strong suit. Another thing you talked about, finding that leader in yourself. That's been where I'm at, you know, the last couple of months is, you know, I've really kind of hit a plateau in my business. And in the last, I don't know, even 3 weeks, I have noticed a different shift, and that's coming from within myself. I'm discovering the leader that I am and what I'm really capable of. And I see that coming to life in you as well. So I feel like we're kind of growing up together in this thing as well. And that's really exciting. And then the last thing is this mission before commission that we talk about. And again, that's really where my switch has flipped in the last couple weeks. I've really been focusing on the service aspect, you know, not so much about even, you know, how much I can help my team make sales. It's more about how can I just serve people? How can I be a blessing? How can I provide tremendous value to this person's life, whether or not they own a Kangen water machine, buy one, join my business, whatever. I just want to come into this person's life, make a mark that that's gonna be there forever, and provide as much value and make their life better. And if I can do that, then I know that I'll be provided for with the sales, the business, all of that. And that's where that commission piece comes in. So again, that's something that you embody very, very well, Liz. And it's just a tremendous example for the rest of Enagic. And I just wish so many more people were on this call to see. So thank you so much.
Yeah, amen, Liz. You're a great, all of you guys are all great examples of leaders and people to look up to. And you know, if somebody were to look at my timeline on Facebook 4 years ago, they would literally think that I'm a completely different person. You know, the things that my timeline was filled with back then was literally just nothing but negativity. And I wondered why my life wasn't going the direction I wanted it to go. If you're constantly surrounding yourself with negative information, negative people, negative thoughts, how can you expect to have anything positive happen for you? And it's so amazing what happens when you literally change your water. It changes your life, you know? And so I'm grateful. I'm so grateful to be part of this show with you guys and being able to share this kind of stuff out with the world and being able to get it recorded and placed up so there where anybody can use it. And I'm right there with you, Steve. I just want to help people. And I just happen to know that between the laws of attraction and that kind of thing, that just, if you do the right thing, the right things are going to come your direction. And so my new motto is just do good and be good. And it's all going to work out. And so it's a blast. It's a blessing to be able to be here and do this, have this available to, and then all the gracious people that have been willing to come on the show. This is, I think, our 144th recorded episode of the Kong Family Show. And we've done a whole bunch of other episodes that I just haven't recorded because I only record when I have guests. And, you know, so, but that's 144 people that have come on this show and blessed our family. And yes. Well, Liz, it's always so great to see you. I love you and Dan so much. And I can't thank you enough for everything you guys do for me and for the family in general. And all I'd like to do now is just ask you if you wouldn't mind letting people know if this is completely up to you. Because as you know, I'm trying to get people together that resonate with each other. And who knows, somebody out there that I've been working on, they think I'm nuts and they don't want anything to do with doing in business with me, but they meet you today and they're like, man, I want to work with that gal. Well, guess what? Go work with that gal because she is a sweetheart and I would love it. But there's only one way that people are going to be able to hook up with you and work with you, and that is if they have contact information, they know how to get a hold of you. So in this particular regard, this is completely up to the guest, whatever information they would like to give out, but I'd like to give you a minute to like tell people how they can get a hold of you if you would like to.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100%. I have this saying that runs through my mind that's the us and the we is greater than the I and the me. And I'm happy to share my information because we're better together. So my phone number is 425-354-0446. And my email is conganelizabeth@gmail.com. Good? Yeah. Reach out anytime. I love educating. It's so much fun, especially when the information is just so useful for every human being and every living thing on the planet. So,
you know, that's exactly it right there. We have this product that I tell people this every single day, and we have a product that everybody needs. Literally everything on the planet needs this. Every living thing on this planet needs this water. And hardly anybody on the planet has this water yet. And we have a product that has zero competition.
Yep.
There's a bunch of people out there, we love to call them the leeches. They say, oh yeah, we're just as good as Kong, half the price, you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, if you peel back the layers of the onion, you find out that no, no, it's not even close. You're not even slightly close. You're just leeching and sucking blood off of us to the best of your ability. And so we got, you know, with that, it feels really good having a product and a company that everybody needs, nobody has, with zero competition. And also, like our good buddy Sean Wetzel always says, we have a product and company that we can be proud of, that we do not need to give any excuses for. And that in itself is also an incredible, incredible blessing. And, you know, with all of that, Liz, I'd just like to ask you if you have any last thing that you would like to share with the family before we jump out of here and get on with our job of changing the world.
I suppose the last thing I'll end on is, you know, look inside yourself, see where you are at, find your why, you know, make it a good one, and do whatever it takes to be true to that. That's all I got to say, pretty much.
I love it.
You know, if it's not the magic, make it something else. But magic is amazing, and
that's the cool thing. You know, one of the cool things, there's just so many awesome gifts about being involved with this company, and you know, they're just numerous. But one of the really cool things that I've loved is that the people that are in this company, they don't just talk the talk. The people in this company walk the walk, along with, you know, they walk their talk. They do what they say they're going to do. They are solid and they, you know, it's just incredible. It really is. Every single day, I'm so grateful for the fact that Brittany Dyke, that amazing angel, shared her story. And as everybody knows, that's my goal around here, is to share stories, so that, because we just never know whose story is going to change whose life. Until I heard Brittany's story, I thought this was the biggest bunch of nonsense on planet Earth. And I never looked. I never cared. I'm like, yeah, whatever, man. Water's water. This is stupid. Stupid, you know. And literally, I found out how stupid I was, you know. And that's the blessing of it all. And so as long as we all just keep on keeping on and stay solid, stay strong, stay truthful to our mission, we're gonna change the world. And you know, as everybody knows who's watched this show enough, we are the Kong family, and we are here to change the world. People think that's a crazy goal, but I'll tell you what, it's not crazy at all. I just changed 3 more worlds in the last few days, and we're literally changing worlds one glass of hydrogen-rich, oxygen-saturated, incredibly hydrating Kangen 9.5 at a time. One amazing guest, one fun and informative show, and one incredible family at a time. And so kids, get out there, change the world, starting with your own. And of course, do not forget your hugs, kids. These are important. And your hootie-doos. Oh, I love you guys all so much. You guys have a great day. Dan, Liz, thank you.
Love you guys.
Steve, Rodgar, good seeing you guys. Thanks to everybody that was on the live side today.
Thanks, Liz. Thanks, JJ. Love you guys.
Love you too, buddy.
See you out there.
Have a great weekend. All right, kids. Bye for now. Make it great.
Bye-bye. Hoo-doo.
What do you say, my brother?
Freezing cold out here.
It's cold out.
Minus
well,
30.
What's your temperature?
Minus 30 degrees.
Minus 30. Oh my Lord. God, I can't even imagine being in such cold temperature, man.
That's right.
When we get 15 degrees, and I'm just absolutely like a popsicle, you know. And here you are.
You better stay over there.
You bad old Stone Beach. Oh, I love you, man.
Have a great day, man.
Have yourself an awesome day, my friend. Get out there, change the world.